Hello, my name is Ellis Hasty.
And I'm Chris Ho. This is our Mad Men analysis presentation.
Mad Men is an American drama set in the 60s that ran for 7 seasons on the cable network AMC. The show is centered around the main character, Don Draper, played by John Hamm, and the people he works with at the advertising agency Sterling Cooper in Manhattan, New York. During these times, excessive smoking, alcohol use, sexism, and bigotry were common in the workplace. Unfortunately, some of these themes continue today.
When we enter the world of Mad Men, the agency Sterling Cooper is being ran by Bertram Cooper and Roger Sterling. Don Draper wears many hats, but as creative director, he spends a lot of time on tactics and strategy.
Sterling Cooper works with many companies, from Mohawk Airlines to Lucky Strike, a cigarette company, to Menken's, a department store, and even on a presidential campaign for Richard Nixon. Throughout working on these and many other campaigns, Don Draper and his team used different strategies and research methods to bring the company's great results. It quickly becomes apparent that Don is the selling point for companies looking into signing with Sterling Cooper.
Throughout this presentation, we will highlight 4 episodes and how they relate back to the marketing and advertising lessons of this course.
In the beginning of the first episode, a waiter comes to fill Don's drink as he's sitting down. He conducts a one-on-one interview, which is a form of qualitative research, until it's interrupted by the waiter's rude manager. This type of research is used by the creative team members as a chance to gain insights of the target audience attitudes toward a product as well as the advertising. Later in the episode, Don Draper and Roger Sterling have a campaign meeting with Rachel Menken, the head of Menken's department stores. As Sterling recommends TV spots, Draper also recommends to Rachel Menken coupons as part of the strategy. This strategy is helpful in earning customer loyalty, beating competitors' prices. As much as this upsets Rachel Menken's, causing Draper to leave the room upset at his client, we should all know that this behavior is completely unacceptable in today's meetings. Fortunately, Don and Rachel have a mutual attraction, which helps the relationship of the companies over time. Near the end of the episode, breaking down the process of how Lucky Strike owner Lee Garner Sr. and Lee Garner Jr., who runs the day-to-day operations, make their cigarettes, Draper uses divergence advertising, which is when an ad uses elements that are unique, breaking away from the stereotypes. Compared to the rest of the staff, Don Draper seems to be the most professional at work, but he is by no means flawless. He does seem to compartmentalize well and has an impeccable sense of timing, though the way of his life does seem to continue to weigh on him.
In episode 7, Peggy is beginning to experience her path towards self-realization by working on advertising text known as copy. Outside of visuals, ad copy is meant to achieve conversion rates and increase profits by informing the audience of key components of the service or product by capturing the interest of the target customer. This is really great to see Peggy take the first steps to becoming such a powerful character we will see for the rest of the series. As Pete Campbell shows his coworkers the wedding present known as the chip and dip, he unknowingly is using what we refer to today as word-of-mouth advertising by sharing information of what the product is used for and his experience he had using it. As much as his friends laugh at him, and the chip and dips are here to stay. Later, as Pete waits in line to return the chip and dip, he meets the wife of a media buyer. In advertising, the media buyers are responsible for purchasing ad space and negotiating with media channels and outlets to optimize the campaign so the right audience experiences the ad at the right time. Pete missed a great opportunity to network due to his ego and his bad habits.
In episode 13, we see Peggy get promoted to junior copywriter, beginning with the new Clearasil account. Junior copywriters are responsible for product descriptions, text, SEO, and keyword research. Not only is this a huge step for the evolution of Peggy, it was really fun to see Pete's reaction since he now has to work with her. Later in the episode, Peggy holds voice auditions for the new Relaxercise radio ad. Peggy does feel conflicted during the auditions as she's trying to find the voice that relays the right message. There are 3 different types of radio ads: live read, sponsorship, and produced spots, where radio stations have the ad inventory of 18 minutes per hour with commercials that can range from 15 to 60 seconds. Close to the end of the episode, Duck meets with the staff, prompting them to network with outside businesses and build new relationships in what we refer to as integrated marketing communications, or IMC. At the end of this episode, Draper's with the Kodak team to pitch their campaign for the new projector. With Draper using nostalgia as a selling point, it is referred to as an emotional advertising, which is the manipulation of feelings to trigger the emotions that influence making decisions. It felt very revealing to see Don observe and regret what he takes for granted every day as he goes through his life in these slides.
There's an underlying theme of expressionism and art in episode 7. Sometimes the sentiment is more overt and other times it isn't. This episode opens with the salesman giving a brilliant pitch to Don in attempts to sell him a Cadillac. This emotion driven by the salesman transports Don back in time to an earlier time in his life. Although Don walks without purchasing the car, this example shows the potential benefit of stirring emotion in the customer. Because of the strength of the pitch, Don ends up buying the car a few days later. Later in the episode, Martinson Coffee team discusses the demographics of the brand, which is going for a hip young generation. Demographics are the parameters that marketers use to segment the audiences into specified groups. Don labels the students for Democratic Society a focus group. Focus groups are a part of a marketing method that gathers qualitative data to find out the attitudes and expectations of the consumer of a product or service. Focus groups are similar to the one-on-one interview Draper had in the beginning of episode 1, but always have an average of 6 to 12 people in a room. While discussing and demonstrating the efficacy of Pampers, the team comes up with a good way to advertise in person by sending registered nurses into maternity wards to show the benefits of using disposable diapers instead of cloth diapers, which were the standard at the time. In effect, they are sending in the nurses to vouch for the product, which is the equivalent of getting them to endorse the product. While revolutionary, there is the downside of cost regarding the product.
In conclusion, we loved and learned from Mad Men. From market research to divergence advertising to endorsements, the lessons were plentiful throughout the show. Even though it's a fictional TV show, I believe there are many real-life things that can be taken away from Mad Men. The toxic culture and the drama in the show didn't cover up the lessons to be absorbed. Don Draper is one of the most interesting characters ever created, and Mad Men is AMC's greatest work, way better than The Walking Dead. Thank you.